What's up? Checkpoint XP back one more time. Valorant Challengers Tour. We've got a playoff going on right now. We've got Hiko on the line. You got to be feeling good after that win, man. Like it was a pretty solid, showing. You guys have Iceland on the line. How does Hiko feel right now?
I'm feeling good after the usual feeling after you win a big game. I think this tournament is probably one of the most important tournaments we've probably ever played in. Not only just to solidify us as one of the top teams, but also obviously to make it to the first LAN event. So I think we're coming into this event with a lot of confidence and a lot of we definitely have a pressure to perform. This is what we're here to do. This is what we're here to accomplish, is making it to the first LAN and hopefully putting NA on the map as far as who's the best region right now, because who really knows?
Yeah, I think it's it's an interesting conversation, but it's also boring to me. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to go, Vision Strikers going 100 and whatever, and one. Like, they're gonna be a good team no matter what. But it feels like such weird play styles because your favorite Viper finally got the buff. You see now Viper being picked, but they would never pick her in Europe. They're never, they've been quick to jump on Breach. North America still hasn't gotten fully behind Breach. Do you think it's going to be like a weird matchup, or is it just going to be like, go in there and play your style?
I think the game is still kind of too early, and it's only been out for a little over a year. I don't think there's players, and I don't think has been enough time for teams to really be confident on multiple game meta breaking comps. I'm sure Korea might come in thinking they can switch their comp around. I mean, they pretty much play the same. Korea and Europe are pretty much still kind of the same. They have their one main agent roster, and that's what they kind of stick to. And I don't believe even just giving the amount of time between all of the qualifiers for Iceland and the actual Iceland event itself, I don't think that people are really going to counter comp or counter pick. I think we're just going to see every region kind of playing their own style and seeing what works, and whoever comes out on top is going to be like, oh, that's the meta, and then everyone's going to try to adapt and whatever that actually means. But yeah, I think probably long term, right now our only opponents, all we have to worry about is beating NA teams. So once we kind of get over that hurdle, and we are one of the best teams in NA, we have to start looking towards, okay, well, maybe we have two different comps we run, one for NA and one against EU, or one against Korea. Who knows how it's going to work. I think it's too early to even really think about, because who knows when the next tournament is going to even be after Iceland as far as LAN. If we go another 6 months online, everything's going to be, it's like, okay, well, we're going to just, as long as we can beat NA, we're good. So, who really knows what's going to happen? But I can honestly say I'm very excited. Hopefully we do qualify for Iceland and we get a chance to play against the other regions.
One of the other things that I want to talk about is, like, right now while watching Valorant, it gets kind of hard sometimes just in how busy everything is. It feels like there's been a shift in even the past 6, maybe even 3 months, where it used to be like, buy Stinger, second round, we're going to run. Anymore, it feels like you're waiting out a minute and a half of the beginning of every single round with all the utility in there. How does it feel playing? You know what I mean? Like in with all the sucks and the smokes and the everything else.
I mean, I know that there was a recent Reddit communication, or there's a recent Reddit thread talking about how, I think it was Hayes himself, said how the meta right now is kind of annoying. And I kind of agree with that. I think the Viper, I feel like a lot of the meta is Astra, Viper, Sage, Raze. And so the amount of delay that you have with those 4 agents is just absurd. And then whoever plays Astra, like we tested around playing Astra a little bit. And whoever plays Astra is just literally just kind of flying around in the astral world most of the game. And it's just, I feel like that's not really a role of a player. It just doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to play against. It doesn't feel good to play as. And I feel like on some maps against some teams, if you don't play, that what people are considering meta, which even if it's Viper included or not, just the Viper Raze the Astra Raze combo, and a lot of times it has Sage. It's just so oppressive at the start of the round. I personally just don't enjoy it. It's just not fun. Then you add the Viper wall or the smokes or the mollies where you run through anything, instantly minus 50 health. If they're holding the wall, it's just like, okay, well, you don't want to run through it. Then if they molly, it's like, okay, well, if you peek me, you're gonna have double damage. So I think that the start of round utility right now is a little too oppressive. I would personally like to see it toned back, whether that means, not letting Astra get her sucks off within the first 10 seconds of the round, or something, about, I don't know how they would change it, but to me, I feel like the teams that are going full, we'll just call it suck meta, it's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not enjoyable.
So, like, especially, we've seen a lot of growth out of Ethan on this team. Like, he's been a really good flex player for you guys. I just want to know, like, we kind of talked a month ago, and it was like, you guys kind of have a new roster. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a fully new, but it's still new. Where are you at? Like, are you guys finally feeling just like this is a, going back to work every day type of a thing? Or are you still kind of feeling each other out?
I think that we weren't really sure what role we wanted Ethan to have long term when he first joined the team. We kind of put him on Omen for that first tournament and just basically said, okay, just throw smokes for us and it'll be easy to learn the game from the Omen's perspective. And I think he picked it up really fast, and I think having him play Omen, even though we didn't have the result we wanted the very first tournament, I think that was a way to kind of kickstart Ethan's learning process. And I think he learned really fast playing Omen. And we saw a transition from Omen to Sage, and I think he just popped off as Sage right away. That was like his play style. He plays it super well. He's really good with the walls. He's really good with the slows and good at using his heal, and all of his abilities he's really good with. I think if I look even longer term, I know that Steel has come out publicly and said, and I think this is internally too, what we kind of acknowledge is we have players with a lot of experience that are good across multiple roles, across multiple agents. So, I see a future where people on the team are playing different agents depending on the map, depending on who we're playing against, depending on even what side you're starting. Say you're starting defense and you're confident against a team and you want to play like a super heavy defensive agent role, and you can get 10 rounds, and maybe you can just get 3 rounds on the other half. Like that to me is how the game is going to evolve eventually, given time. So Ethan specifically, I think maybe we've tested him on other agents outside of Sage and Omen. I mean, maybe you'll have to wait and see what is in store. But yeah, I think Ethan's. I think he's learning the game at an insanely fast rate, and I have full confidence in him as a player. And no matter on what role he is, he actually has to play for us.
Hey, awesome. And one last question before we get you out of here. 100 Thieves and Sentinels are really the only kind of like household Valorant names in this current playoff. Like you have Andbox, you have version 1, a whole bunch of different teams that are making not their first appearance, but their first like big league appearance. How are you preparing for this differently? Are you, doing the extra legwork to have to learn new teams than the ones you normally are competing against? Or is it like, listen, it's essentially the same game plan for everybody?
I think a lot of the way we play is playing very, very solid fundamentally, and playing very solid, trying to just adapt fast to whoever we play. A lot of teams, from what I've seen already, a lot of teams are trying to change stuff up, change the agents they're playing, change the way, their actual style of play. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that it's going to be good. I think it's weird. It's weird to think that teams like FaZe and Gen.G aren't even in this qualifier.
It's so weird, because if you talk, flashback a month and people are like, oh, the Smeeg's the only thing. And then it's like, well, yeah. Where are they?
Yeah. What happened? Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. We definitely have a game plan going in, and it changes from team to team. Whoever we're playing, whether they have the suck meta, the Astra, Viper, Sage Rays, or they don't have the Astra, then we definitely just take it case by case. And I think we have enough tape, and we have enough experience against all these rosters that we kind of know what to expect. We kind of know what their win condition is. Everyone knows what our win condition is. Everyone knows how we play. So it's just just standard, typical domestic rivalries where, you know, we play Sentinels. We know on Ascent, Sick is going to have a Phoenix
every
and just
time
fight off Cat. Like it's you just know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think a big thing for us coming into this event and against a lot of these teams we're playing is more out of the server necessarily, instead of being more like micro and macro. It's more about just making sure everyone is mentally, you know, awake, mentally there, positive attitude, and I think that kind of takes us far. So
awesome. Hey, man, I appreciate you taking the time every single time you're forced to have to talk to me. Hiko, you know, good luck at this tournament. Hopefully we get to talk to you again.
Thanks for the interview. Have a good one.
Later.